You are now listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors and ex-examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Hello there, IELTS students. In this episode, we are talking with Demi from Nigeria, who scored some exceptional IELTS results, some exceptional IELTS scores. And in this recording, he's going to share how he did it. So how are you, Demi?
Hello, Ben. I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, before we jump into your IELTS secrets and your success, could you share with us your situation? Why do you need to take IELTS?
Okay, so I'm I'm a medical doctor by profession. I finished from Babcock University in Ogun State, Nigeria, and I have plans to travel to the UK to practice medicine. In order to do that, I have to take the UK medical licensing examination. And in order to register for that examination, I need to have a proof of English language proficiency. So that's why I took IELTS academic.
Right, I see. And once you've taken this exam, basically you can start the procedure for moving to and working in the UK, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Right, I see. And just a little bit slightly off topic with regards to IELTS, will you be a member of, is it the GMC, the General Medical Council we have in the UK?
Yes, that is it.
Right, I see. And I guess you will be working with the NHS, is that right?
Exactly.
Right. And has the NHS helped you in any way with this process?
Right now, I'm working with the GMC. I'm in touch with the GMC at the moment as regards my registration. So that's where I'm at right now.
Interesting. Okay. And who was it who told you to go for IELTS? The GMC, an immigration agent, or did you just find it out online?
The GMC requested.
I see.
Yeah,
but did they just say? I mean, how did they tell you? Was it via email, or are you talking with somebody from within the GMC?
Okay, so what happens is, as an international medical graduate, if you studied outside the UK, you have to provide that proof of English language proficiency, which is IELTS. So that's a procedure for all international medical graduates, and the GMC is like a standard thing. Everybody knows if you don't study in the UK, you have to have the IELTS. So people have to take the tests before they go on to take PLAB, which is the medical licensing exam for the UK.
Yes, I remember PLAB. Have you taken PLAB yet?
No, I'm taking that in February, hopefully.
Right. Do you take that in Nigeria or in the UK?
Yeah, so it's 2 steps. The first step is in Nigeria. The second step is in the UK.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get back to IELTS. So what issues did you have with the IELTS exam?
Man, it has to be time and more time. Time is your worst enemy for IELTS, both during preparation and during the exam. It's more intense during the exam.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And before the exam, it sounds like it was a bit last minute, your preparation.
Well, not exactly. I think I had about 2 months to prepare for IELTS. I took IELTS initially last year, but I had the wrong ideas about the exam. You know, I didn't prepare as much. I think I used 3 weeks to prepare. You know, and the people I was in touch with didn't give me enough information as to, you know, what's actually happens in the exam, how I should attack different aspects of the exam. So, you know, I had like a misconception about the exam, you know, but this time, you know, I had more time to prepare for the exam. I sat down, look at the different aspects. You know, I knew after I got my result the last time, I had issues with reading and writing. So for my instance, for my own particular case, I need at least 7 in all aspects, and then an average of 7.5. So I had issues with reading and writing. So I knew I had to focus on those 2 aspects. So I got information about those two aspects, and my sister took your course some time ago. She's a doctor in the UK right now. So she had issues with writing. And then she told me that, if you take this guy's course, you're going to ace it, and I believe her. And, that's what happened.
Awesome. Yeah. Love that. And you said at the beginning of your answer, you said that some guys told you you had to take the IELTS exam, but you didn't really, they didn't tell you like what it involved. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Who are these people? I will find them and punish them.
Well, so somewhere in my city, I just go and I saw an advert, a billboard somewhere in town, and I just thought to try them out,
Oh, so it's like a physical academy.
Yes. So I had a few classes, but it wasn't. I mean, if I have to compare my preparation last year and now, I mean, like it's I can't even compare the two. It's a world of difference, as to the effort and what it actually entails.
Right.
In terms of preparation.
It sounds like the academy was a touch casual, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intense exam, the time, the approach. I mean, like if I have to talk about like the writing, for example, like, I mean, the details, if I have to talk about the modules I went through with your course, the details of, what it entails, both task 1 and task 2, the strategies, how do you answer different types of questions, what should you include, what should you exclude, but they just had like a, I don't know, permit me to use the word carefree, like, I mean, it involves so many things, you can't just tell me, you have to have a strategy. You can't just be basic about it,
Yeah.
It's not just any exam, it has Absolutely. A lot of details.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand students having a casual attitude, maybe the first time they take it, it's just like, I'll go in, I'll do the test. But for actual instructors to have a carefree attitude is borderline criminal. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it costs time, it costs effort, it costs energy, and also it's like a sledgehammer for your confidence if you don't get the grades you want.
True.
Right. So what grades did you get the first time? Hold back on your final grades. I'll ask you about those in a minute, but what grades did you get on your first attempt?
Okay, so my listening was 9.0. My speaking was 8.0.
Wow.
My reading and writing were both 6.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah, so initially, I mean, I don't think I practiced reading as much. I definitely did not have a technique about reading, because reading is very technical. But if you have, I discovered a technique that I used and was very helpful for me.
Share the technique with us, please.
Well, so for reading, I found out that there's a lot of controversy and debate about as to, whether you should read the questions first or read the answers first. Read the comprehension first, the essay first, the paragraph first, or read the questions first.
Correct.
So, I was going back and forth, about this, and I think I discovered a technique, and it involves reading one paragraph at a time, going straight to the paragraph. Well, you can gloss over the questions initially, go straight to the paragraph, read that paragraph, go through the questions in that section. For example, you have a group of paragraphs, then you have 1 to 13 to start with. So read paragraph A, go through 1 to 13, look at, the questions that are likely linked to that paragraph, and then answer them quickly, and then do the next thing for the other paragraphs. So you go to question B and then read through 1 to 13, see, the questions that have that are related to that paragraph. I mean, I found it very, very quick, compared to just going back and forth after reading each question. So you can do that for each section, 1 to 13, 14 to 26, and then 27 to, the last question. So that was very helpful. And I discovered that also the questions usually follow for some types of questions. For example, the objectives, they almost always follow, like the order in which the questions come, follow the order in which the paragraphs are given, almost always. And then some other aspects, like most of the others, the only ones that do not follow that pattern is maybe they ask you to match what an author says with
Of
a
course.
particular sentence. Yes, that was likely to be scattered. But almost in the others, I think true or false, not given usually. I think that usually follows too. But once you practice this, and the person you understand what I'm talking about, they usually follow.
Yeah. This is fantastic advice, because on our podcast, what we do is we say, look, there's this technique. As you said, there's quite a big debate about which is right. And I always suggest to the students to try both techniques and maybe a new technique, and then test which works best for them, which is pretty much exactly what you did. No, you found a technique that worked for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you found out this technique because you were doing, how did you find this technique? Because you were doing practice papers or researching online? Or
well, I researched online.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I found a video that discusses technique. I practiced it a few times. I didn't find it excuse me. I didn't find it helpful, maybe because I was just starting to practice it. So I forgot about it for some time. And then I went back to the routine, just going back and forth. Then eventually I thought I should try it again. And then when I just tried it, a few more times, I found, I got fantastic results. I found out that it was easier. It was more efficient. I was using my time better, and I just found it better, compared to the other techniques.
Awesome. That's great. So you were doing quite a few practice papers, and can you tell us how you were preparing for the writing? Because this was quite a big pain point for you as well, wasn't it? If you got 6.
Yes. You mean how I was preparing before now?
Yes.
The last time I took the test.
Yeah.
Well, so we're just given, we'll be given essays to write on. I would write the essays, I'll turn them in, and then the assessments were not detailed, of the essays by my instructors then. They just tell you, talk about a few places, one time someone was telling me to just express myself. What does that even mean? That kind of thing. Like, I'm not a writer, I'm not an art student, telling me to express myself. So those are the kind of advice I was getting at the time. So
express yourself, Demi. Use capital letters. Pour your emotions into this essay.
Like things. Funny thing is, before I even went there, I knew I needed a framework to attack these essays. And then someone was telling me that you don't need a framework. Like, it's not good to use a framework. It's not good to use this. I found. I didn't really believe that, but I'm like, okay. Let me just. I've not taken this test before. Let me believe this person knows, what she's doing. And then, of course, after my second attempt, I knew that wasn't true.
Wow. What a shame, though. What a shame that you had to actually take the test and then basically not only test your English, but you have to test her advice, the instructor's advice from the academy, and basically waste your IELTS test fee testing.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't have to do that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. It's criminal. So what specific problems did you have when you were writing? You said that the instructor said express yourself, don't use a framework. Advice. It was, like I said, it was a world of difference, using your model and speaking with Miss Daphne. I think that was my teacher. Vocabulary, my vocabulary was definitely not sophisticated. I'm sure about that, the words I used, and then certain phrases, how to begin paragraphs. And then I think what made a huge difference, what I believed it was using those examples. The sentence guide, let me just put it that way, the sentence guide, the framework, that you offered about using academic examples, surveys, research. I had no clue about that. Right.
I had no clue about that.
I see. So just for the audience, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, Demi, but it seems like from the course you learned how to basically upgrade your vocabulary and how to find the vocabulary and apply it. Is that right?
Exactly. Find the vocabulary using topic specific vocabulary. Using academic examples, sounding academic. Not using common vocabulary or everyday vocabulary, as it were, and having a framework, understanding how to approach different types of essay questions.
Gotcha. And can you describe, if you remember, the specific moment you realized that this course was kind of like working for you?
I think the response from Miss Daphne was very helpful. She was very encouraging. Each time I sent my essays in, she gave me a lot of confidence. I mean, her responses really boosted my confidence. She just encouraged me all the way. And each time I turned in my essays, the next one was better than the previous one.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she was, that was very helpful.
It's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? When you just get in your work back and you can see the improvement, and especially as well when the tutor is confirming that your essays are improving. It's magical, isn't it?
That was it. Exactly.
Yeah, this is the part that I really enjoyed. Sometimes I correct essays, and when I can see between like 3 essays or even 2 essays sometimes, the transformation of somebody's work from going into basically what's like what seems like spoken English into a full academic formal high scoring essays. It's truly magical, just seeing the speed of the improvement. So could you just, I kind of jumped ahead with my last question, but could you tell me, you mentioned your sister, so could you tell me, like, at what point did you decide to work with us? Was it when your sister introduced you to us?
Yes, exactly. So when she knew I was taking the IELTS, she knew I had an issue the first time. So she just thought, she took the course. It was very helpful to her, and she thought I should give it a try. So immediately I signed up for it.
Okay. Did you have any doubts or concerns before moving ahead?
No, I did not, because she had taken the test a couple of times and she had issues with writing consistently. So she was very positive about your course.
Okay. Did you beat your sister with your IELTS results? Your scores, were they higher than hers?
Well, I'm yet to confirm that, but I'm pleased with my results. So.
But did you beat her? Sorry to keep digging on this question. Did you get higher than her?
Well, I'm yet to confirm that. She took hers a while back. It's been some years now. She's way older than me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
I'm kind of getting the impression you didn't beat her.
Well, honestly, I didn't even ask her.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll leave it. So tell us, now, can you think? Well, you said that Daphne was working with you and she was giving you the feedback. Was there any? I don't know if you'd be able to remember this, but was there any specific point? You've mentioned the vocabulary, the structure, the sentence guide. Was there any other points or details that you remember that really sort of like where the light switch just went on and the penny dropped, so to speak?
Yeah, I noticed that each time. I think just from your instructions during the modules, when your essays are corrected, they make corrections. I jotted my corrections for each essay, and I made sure I made those corrections in the subsequent essays. So I think that made a huge difference. That's what brings the change that you're looking for. Just imputing those corrections.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You can go through the course, and if you don't do the corrections, you're not going to get half as much benefit. This is it. There is work, just for the listeners. There is work involved. You got to correct your essay according to the corrections we give, and then send it back. We review that, and it is a process, a system for improving students' work. And this is how we consistently get the high scores. So what scores did you get in the end, Demi?
Okay, so my listening was still 9.0. My reading was 8.0. My writing was 7.5, and my speaking was 7.5.
Wow, so you jumped from 6 to 7.5 in the writing.
Yes.
Fantastic, man.
Yes.
Did you go back down to your local academy and show them?
No, I don't have anything to do with them again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You could start teaching it now, couldn't you?
I'm telling you, I'm considering it.
All right.
Yeah.
And you scored band 9 for the listening. How
Yes.
on earth did you do this? Do you have any strategy to share?
Well, I think you have to pay a lot of attention from the outset, as soon as the monologue or dialogue begins, the test begins, so, and I discovered some tests and some sites, that have services to practice these things. I think can I share the website? Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so IELTSonlinetest.com has yes, they have options to practice reading, speaking, listening, and I think writing too. I don't know how their writing works, but for reading, I use that for reading and listening. So they have timed tests to practice with. So so I'm few days before the exam, I didn't practice my listening so much because I knew I didn't have any issues with it. But I discovered that few days before these tests that I just took now, I figured that, it's still a little bit tricky because it's very easy to be carried away during the, during the audio, while it's being played, because you have to listen out for synonyms, for little details, for spellings, so it still has, as much as it's not too challenging, you need to have a little technique when you're approaching it. You have to listen out for details, spellings, synonyms, expressions,
right,
so on. Yeah,
it seems like developing the ability to focus.
Yes.
To focus and to discern the differences between all the different sounds, and obviously the spellings, like you said, synonyms. So it's really like dedicated focus seems the key. And relentless practice.
Definitely.
I get the impression you were doing quite a few of these listening tests. Is that right? Well,
funny thing is, I didn't pay as much attention as I did to I didn't pay too much attention to listening because I didn't have issues with it in my previous tests.
Gotcha.
So I just started paying attention to listening about a few days to the test, maybe like 3 days, because I knew I didn't remember it to be challenging, but I discovered that I'm happy I tried it out because like I said, it's still a bit technical. Because you can think, it's going to be a breeze, but you just figure that, during my practice this time, I noticed that, by the time, they had said so many things. The answers had been in the conversation, way before I figured that, the answers had been there. Like, I got carried away because, you have to listen up for synonyms. You have to listen up for, alternative meanings. Yeah.
So I guess it was kind of like a case of holding a lot of information in your head and recognizing that the kind of like the conversation had moved ahead and that the answer was in the previous section.
Exactly. Yes, I figured that I had to pay, serious attention to details.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so it seems like it wasn't a case of relentless practice. It was more you had a high score the first time you did it, and you were doing the practice test more or less just to get familiar with the format.
Exactly.
Right. Interesting. And how did your speaking go? You got good grades with that?
Yeah, the speaking wasn't too challenging the first time, and same thing with this time. So it wasn't too challenging. But I have to say that your speaking models were very, very detailed. As much as I didn't have challenges with my speaking, but for someone that has challenges with speaking, I think your speaking model was very, very helpful. As far as the approach goes, the way you should attack the questions, the practice, the amount of questions that were available for practice, your models were very helpful. So the speaking was okay. I think it just is a bit similar to the writing as far as vocabulary goes. You have to elevate your vocabulary.
Yeah.
You have to be eloquent. You have to be audible. So I think
that's a good point. Even native English speakers would have to elevate their speaking a little bit just to
Yes.
to get those scores. You can't go in there with the mindset of like, I'm having a conversation with my friend. It's like more like a job interview, and you really got to show the examiner the whole breadth and range and depth of your vocabulary. So yeah, excellent point there, Demi. Excellent point. And now, finally, as my last question, what would you say to anybody who's maybe sat on the fence and who's undecided about whether to join the online course?
Man, I'll tell them to go for it. Don't think too much about it. Just go for it. You have very respectful and responsible instructors, over at IELTS podcast. You would be listening to your concerns, and your questions will be attended to promptly, and you're going to achieve what you set out to achieve. You're going to experience a development and a growth, in your English language skills, in all aspects.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Demi. Thank you. And well done,
you're
man.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Great, dude. All right. So is there anything else before we finish that you would like to share with the audience about working with us or IELTS in general? Anything that we haven't covered?
Okay. No, not really. I just want to say thank you, for the opportunity. I mean, it was a pleasure going through your course. It was very helpful, and I would like to stress the time factor. I mean, time is very important. I mean, especially with reading, and I think generally most people. Okay, well, English is the first language in Nigeria, so I don't think many people have issues with listening and speaking. But I mean, I was speaking to someone recently, and the person still talked about reading, being an issue. So I think, I think you just have to try and find out which you have to practice reading and you have to practice writing. I mean, many times, and it has to be timed too, because I mean, you can have a great technique and approach, but I mean, if you don't time yourself, it's going to defeat the whole purpose, of practicing.
Exactly. Yeah, this is so true. I remember correcting an essay once, and I was like, "This is insanely good." And I asked my student how long it took, and he says, "Oh yeah, it took 2 afternoons." And I was like, "Dude."
I mean,
I was like, dude, I mean, it's good. I appreciate the dedication, but the next one, let's try and write it within at least like 2 hours, at very least, and then we'll work backwards from there. Yeah. True. All right. Thank you so much, Demi. It's been an absolute
You're welcome, sir.
It was awesome interviewing you, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
With your UK endeavor.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.